Hi everybody, Brian here. And last October, the Nintendo Entertainment System turned 30 years old in North America. Um, my favorite, the console that got me into video games really and changed my whole life really. I mean, that sounds a little weird, but it did change my life. My hobbies were all about video games. I asked for video games all the time. I would always couldn't wait to get a video game. I'd go and look at video games. I'd bug my parents for video games. It was all video games. So let me give you a little history about my introduction to the NES. We had an Atari 2600 like lots of kids, lots of people did have growing up. Well, I played the 2600. I was not really in love with it. The games never really gripped me. I played them for a while, like Pac-Man and E.T. I even liked, and I had Spider Fighter, which I loved. Combat I used to play. But they never really became, I don't want to say obsession, but a huge hobby and just joy for me. So in 1988, I was in 3rd grade, and I didn't really have any friends whatsoever. So I'm going to tell you the story right now of how the NES was introduced into my life. It sounds kind of funny to say that. How I was introduced to the NES. 1988, I was in 3rd grade. Didn't have many friends at all. There was a lip-syncing competition. And for those who don't know, basically a group of kids performed the song that they picked. They lip-sync to the lyrics, and they get judged, and you see if you win. There was a group of 3 kids who were looking for another person to join their group to do the contest. And I was thinking to myself, hey, maybe I can, make a friend or something like this. So I volunteered. And the thing, when we did that, we had to go over to each other's houses to practice the lip sync, learn the lyrics to the song, perform. Excuse me. So I met my best friend throughout high school doing this competition. His name was Brett, and I went over to his house and we practiced lip sync. And he came the first time. The first time we practiced, he came over to my house and he brought the Nintendo. I think I don't remember if he said, hey, did you ever play Nintendo? I don't remember any of that. And I'm sure he had to, and I was like, oh, yeah, sure. Probably like, hey, yeah, sure, go ahead. So the first game I actually played on the Nintendo, it was either Super Mario Bros. 2 or Super Mario Bros. 1. I don't remember which one exactly. But when I played Super Mario Bros. 2, I knew, hey, video games are great. I had so much fun with that game, and just Super Mario Bros. But Super Mario Bros. 2 was the game for me that really pushed me into wanting to get an NES. So from that point on, I was huge into Nintendo. I had to get a Nintendo. I don't remember exactly when my parents actually got me a Nintendo. It would actually be probably that year. I would think it would be at least that year, because from that time on, I got one very soon after. I don't remember when, or my mom probably just on the way from work just picked one up or something. And I played it for the longest time at first on a black and white TV. And that TV died. And then my mom, I'll always remember this. When it died, I didn't play, and I was real sad. This was probably one of the best experiences I had growing up, I remember. One day my mom just came home, and with her she had a little 13-inch TV, which I still have to this day. Sharp little 13-inch RF connection. She brought that home with me and a Happy Meal. And you gotta remember, to me, that was amazing, because I could play my NES again, because we weren't allowed to hook it up to the big TV, this console TV in the living room, I don't think. Or I did, and she didn't want me to play it too much, because there was like a fear that it would break the TV, I believe. I don't remember playing it on that TV much. We had a big console TV. So I was so happy. I put it in my room. It was just a little 13-inch TV, but I love that TV. Even with RF, the games look so great on it because the TV was so small and the graphics, because it's a smaller TV. Even in RF, the graphics look great. So I still have that TV today. It's one of my cherished possessions, along with my original NES, which I'll get to here. Had it hooked up in my room, and from that moment on, all I wanted, I continue my love affair with games. Not love affair, but obsession with games to this day. And I look at it back at third grade. If I didn't say, hey, go make a friend, invite yourself. Hey, you need somebody else for lip syncing? I'll do it. Because of that one decision, it changed my life completely. That sounds a little drastic, but it did, really. I might have found the NES through another way. Who knows? But would I've had that same memories? Because with the people I met there, we used to have sleepovers and hang out and play games and trade games to rent, like a renting system with my one friend Brett in particular. And it was just. And by the way, the song that we did was "Everybody Walked the Dinosaur." I forget who exactly that was by, but looking back at that, I was like, that was the point in my life where everything changed, and I think for the better, because that moment was a big impact of defining who I was. Just looking at, hey, I went this way, and it turned out pretty good. And because of that, I was introduced to Nintendo, and I have a lifelong love of Nintendo and their games ever since. Like I said, I wasn't into Atari too much. I liked it, but seeing the NES and seeing the graphics and the adventures, the hidden secrets, and, for example, Mario 2, it seemed like an adventure, a quest. Mario Brothers 1, Super Mario Brothers was, hidden stuff, going left to right, power-ups, a quest, getting to the castle. It was nothing that was like on Atari. Back then, to me, that was amazing that you could do this. Playing on a little black and white TV and then that 13-inch color. My mom, I still have to mention her. Thank you so much for getting me that TV and getting me the NES. Thank you so much. That was huge. So enough of that. I want to go over the games I had as a kid. These are my games I had growing up from 1988, until now. I still have them. And my original NES. So, here's my original NES right here, the action set, the one that a lot of kids got late 80s, coming with the orange zapper, because the gray one apparently looked too real, so they made it orange. So this was the later one. Came with Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt. See on the back, I'm sure a lot of you have seen the NES set. But there you go, 2 controllers, orange zapper, Mario Duck Hunt. This right here was probably the most important present I ever got. So let's go over the games. I think after Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt, I think the next game I had to get was this game. My favorite Mario game on the NES, and probably one of my favorite Mario games ever, Super Mario Brothers 2. This game is just amazing. The play style of it, picking up, turnips and vegetables, throwing it at enemies, jumping on enemies, picking them up, throwing the potion to get into the sub world, picking up coins in there, And I always thought, wow, how do they do that? How do you throw a potion and you go into another world and you're there? And it just seems so big. In particular, I always remember the water level. I think it was World 4 or 2, where there were the whales and you rode up their whale spouts, and they spit the water up and you ride up. To this day, I can still beat this game relatively easy. And it's a hard game, but I played it so much. I love it to death. This is probably my favorite game on the NES, I think. It's up there, definitely. So I don't remember after that. I think I'm going to go, and the next one I really remember, here's another story with this. I was in a department store with my mom. She was every Saturday we used to go grocery shopping, and she'd go and get something at the department store, and I'd tag along. I'd get McDonald's afterwards. And I remember I saw this game, Kung Fu, somewhere. It might have been Woolworths or another department store, but I bugged my parents to have it, my mom to have it, and she caved in and got it for me. And I remember we were shopping the whole time, and she was looking at clothes, and I was just looking at this. The agonizing wait to go home and play this was terrible. I just wanted her to be done shopping, heck with clothes. Let's go home right now. We can both play Kung Fu, That's all I wanted to do, was just play this game. And that's how it was. That feeling, I wish, if there's one thing I miss in games, it's that feeling when you're younger of course, not knowing anything of a game. There was no internet. I didn't have the internet. I had no magazines at this time. I knew nothing of Nintendo Power. I just went by this. And this looked cool. Kung Fu, a guy kicking. This looks cool. I had no idea about this game. It was so... Seeing a game, bugging my parents, they get it for me. My mom gets it for me. That alone was, yes, new game. That was huge. And not knowing what to expect, the anticipation to go home and play this game, or any game you get. Opening it up, smelling the instruction manual, reading the instruction manual, running home, running your mom's, has to get the groceries in. You have to help her, or you do it real fast, or you just, run past, and she says, hey, come back and help me. And then finally, after you do that, you go home, put the game in, turn it on, see the title screen, like, oh, this is great, and playing the game. This game right here, Kung Fu, very simple, very fun, very, very fun, simple gameplay, duck to kick, jump to kick, punch, jump kick, guys come left and right, you kick them depending on where they're at. Flying enemies come in, little pots come in with little moths. Very fun. I've never beaten this game to this day. And I should go and beat this game, but I have good memories of this game. So that's Kung Fu. I think that was around one of my early games too. What else we have here? Okay, this game right here. I was in a department, a 5 and 10, or drugstore. For those who don't know, 5 and 10, 5 and dime is like a little department store that has like a soda jerk, not soda jerk, but they call it soda jerk, but a little restaurant in a corner. It was called Wars, and they had a little pet section, a little clothing section. You could buy drugs, prescription drugs like medicine there. And I remember this store layout. It was next to the grocery store we shopped at, Bilo, or Riverside at the time. I think it was Riverside. And we'd always go, I'd bug my mom to go in and look at the games afterwards. And waiting to finish grocery shopping to go look at the games was the highlight of my Saturday. Because what will they have, And so I remember this, to this day, this is a strong memory. The store layout, you go in, registers right up here on the right. To the left was the video, little electronics section. And these would be the games, NES games were behind the counter, hanging on little hang tabs. And I saw this game here, Ninja Gaiden. I always say Ninja Gaiden. I know it's Ninja Gaiden, but I still say Ninja Gaiden. And now, when I was younger, much like the Kung Fu, just saying Kung Fu with kicking, just look at this cover. Now, I was probably 9 or 10. Or was it 89? I was probably 10 or 11, maybe 9 or 10 or 11, or 10 or 11 around there. And look at this cover. It had a ninja, a city on fire. Awesome, just this, look, those box art. Look at the back. I picked it up and I bugged my mom like I always did. And it didn't always work. And she got this game for me. And this game, I don't think I've ever beaten it. I got pretty far. This game today is a very strong tie to me. The music, when it boots up, just like Mario 2, is very strong nostalgic feelings for me. The cinematic scenes in it are great. The gameplay is great. Very hard, but very fun. So Ninja Gaiden is another early one at Woolworth's department store. Next, after that, I was obsessed with swamps in Louisiana and that area of the country, southeastern U.S. And I actually did a book report in Louisiana because I was so obsessed with swamps. One game I really, really wanted so bad was this game, The Adventures of Bayou Billy. And I got this game, and I loved it. And I still kind of like Bayou Billy. It's like I'm kind of not. Yeah, I almost have to apologize for saying that. I like Bayou Billy. It had fighting, which I liked, like Double Dragon style. Only not as good as Double Dragon style. Like you couldn't hardly win a fight without getting hit. There was certain tricks you had to do that I learned. And it had driving sections where you toss grenades at planes, avoid cars, shoot cars, get gas to refuel, I believe. And it had shooting stages with a zapper. And Bayou Billy, I remember playing and really loving. And I actually beat Bayou Billy as a kid. I probably couldn't do it today, but you see, there must have been some kind of promotion going on because I cut the UPC out, but I was so careful. I don't know if my mom did it or what, but to cut it just deep enough to not cut through the blocks the whole way, but just clip out the UPC just like that. Excuse me. And still to this day, I love the Bayou Billy box art. And yeah, Bayou Billy, a bad game, but I like Bayou Billy, so it's another one. Here we go, Castlevania. This game I played so much that my mom, whenever I played this recently a few times in front of my mom, and every time I play it, she goes, "I remember that music." I played it so much that she remembers this music. And the funny thing is, my sister at the time, she dated a guy, and he could actually flip the score back to 0. He'd beat the game, go through it, and it would start again. And he'd max out the score, and it would go back to 0. He could beat it like in one life. And I thought that was amazing. But here's my copy's kind of beat up here. You kind of see, but it is signed. I actually got it signed by the composer, who goes by James Banana, and I forget her name right now off the top of my head, but she did the music for it. She was at MagFest one year, and I got it signed. So yeah, Bayou Billy is Bayou Billy being one of my favorite memories and games I played, along with Mario 2, and this one is up there as well, Castlevania. Just look at this box art, amazing. Castlevania, awesome game. So those all games are awesome so far. I love all those games so far to death. Here we'll go over the other ones I got. These are my other remaining childhood games I kept on. I picked up. I still have. A Boy and His Blob. Really interesting looking game. I didn't know what to expect when I got it. When I finally got it, I was like, wow, this is weird, because it wasn't what I was expecting, but I still enjoyed it. This one, Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse. Also love this game. Very cool. I kept the box in a lot better shape. Awesome game. I can still beat this one relatively easy, and I always go the hard way. If you take the basement, get Alucard, and then you climb back up. I always go that route. I seem to have better luck that route instead of going on a ship for some reason and sticking with Sypha or Grant. Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers, a game that me and my friend would play, the friend that I talked about in 3rd grade. Good 2-player co-op game. You could pick up the other player and carry him or throw him when obstacles and such. Still awesome game. And all these games are great to me, by the way. Some of them are critically say great, but to me these are my favorite games on the NES, I'd say. Because these are the ones I had, so obviously they're going to be my favorite. Another good one we used to play co-op, me and that friend, Double Dragon 2, The Revenge. This game is special to me because my mom loved it a lot. This is Dr. Mario. She still plays Dr. Mario today. I got her a 3DS, and she has Dr. Mario Miracle Cure on it. She still plays the Game Boy version on her Game Boy Advance. She still plays Dr. Mario all the time, and she can beat it. She's very good at Dr. Mario. She can get past level 20, and she loves this game. I think Animal Crossing might have taken the crown for her, but she still loves Dr. Mario a lot. This game. I got Nintendo Power. Nintendo Power was huge. I remember my friend, I was in 4th grade at the time, and my friend brought in Super Mario Brothers 3, the Nintendo Power with Mario on the front, and I should have grabbed it to show you, but it's the famous one of Super Mario Brothers 3 where he's flying with the raccoon tail, and he's flying. It's made out of, I think, clay. And we passed that around class during homeroom, and he passed it to me, I passed it to him, or I'd read it, pass it to him, and other kids would get it, and they'd be amazed at the Super Mario Brothers 3 spread. And then I think we were at shopping again at the grocery store, and I picked up that magazine. I still have the copy. It's beat up all to heck. I should have brought it here. But I read it so much it was falling apart, and I knew Super Mario Bros. 3 was coming out. And that leads into Super Mario Bros. 3, but that's not what this is about. So I ordered Nintendo Power, and a few months later, or maybe, the subscription came, and I got this game in the mail. And I was like, Dragon Warrior, wow. Wow. So I popped it in, played it. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And it took me, I was playing it one evening, after Friday, probably after school, and I still didn't know what I was doing. And then it clicked. I fought stuff, I got money. I went to a town, I saw, okay, a copper sword. So I said, if I fight stuff, I get enough money, I can get the copper sword. Fought stuff, got the copper sword, fought the next enemy, and he died really easy. I was like, this is exciting. To me, I was like, I seem to be progressing. I'm getting stronger, and I leveled up a lot, and I got stronger. Stuff got easier. I was like, this is kind of fun. I'm kind of getting stronger. Exploring a world, it seemed huge. Getting better weapons, and I went from the town, I went north, and there was enemies I couldn't beat before that I beat easily. I went northwest, and there was a town there with an axe that was like 500 gold. And I was like, wow, okay, I guess I got to save up for that. So I saved up for that, and I got that. And then stuff was easier. I gained levels. I went south. I went to a cave. Harder enemies. Repeat. And there was something I loved about that. I was like, okay, this is, I was like, wow. I didn't think this, but I was like, I understand this. I know how to play it. I love this. And in fact, that day I got it. I finally clicked to me, and we had to go to my sister's concert. She was singing, and I didn't want to go, and it was terrible. But the funny thing is, I met this other kid there, Chris, and he had Dragon Warrior, and he explained to me, because he beat it, and he explained to me all this stuff, and I was just wanting to go home and play it. I think he had a lot of RPG, or he had that game, he explained it to me, and I was like, wow. So from that moment on, I was like, wow, this game's awesome. Dragon Warrior is awesome, and I like RPGs to this day because of this game that I had no idea I was getting, came in the mail for my subscription to Nintendo Power. I should say that I ordered Nintendo Power, and anybody who got a subscription to Nintendo Power got Dragon Warrior. So I had no idea it was coming, so getting a free game in the mail, awesome, and it turned out to be a good game. This game I didn't have until my friend Brett had it, and we used to play it at his house. And this is The Legend of Zelda. Obviously, I didn't really introduce it because everybody knows. If you grew up during that time, you know this. And I liked it, and I I got it for probably a gift sometime or something. And I went through it. Never beat the second quest. What more can you say about Legend of Zelda? Great game. I have more fond memories of playing it at his house than I do of my actual cartridge. But, yeah, Legend of Zelda. This game here I was obsessed with getting because I read, at that point I was getting Nintendo Power. I think the strategy guide for this game, Ninja Gaiden 2, or Ninja... See, I'm going to correct myself saying the right way to the incorrect way. Ninja Gaiden 2. Just look at this cover. The first one was Fire in a City. This cover is just as awesome because of the dragon. I bugged my parents, my mom and dad, to get this one. I got it pretty close to release. It probably Woolworths, and it came with a Nintendo Power Release a Strategy Guide. I was getting a subscription at the time, and I did beat this one. And I love Ninja Gaiden 2. Still one of my favorites. Easier than the first, I think. You could get shadow ninjas. You could, depending on where you're at, they could stop in the air and slash. Made it easier. Great music, great event set pieces, great cinema scenes. Just great game overall. Continues the adventure of Ryu Hayabusa. Awesome game. Ninja Gaiden 2, top-notch quality. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. This one, RC Pro-Am, is developed by Rare. Of course, I didn't know at the time. I just knew I loved this game, and I never was interested much in cars, but still to this day, the music and it's kind of quiet when you're racing, but then you win the race, it's do 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 do. And it was silent. Spelling out Nintendo. All the cars get faster. You can upgrade and get faster. Fun isometric top-down racing when you got it. It just worked. Fun game. RC Pro-Am. Top-notch game. Got just two more, so bear with me. I didn't play a lot of arcade games as a kid. I went to Aladdin's Castle in Indiana, PA, in the Indiana Mall, and we played mostly beat-em-ups. I played, and then Street Fighter came later. I played that. In Mortal Kombat I saw. But I wasn't huge into the arcade, just beat-em-ups and fighting games. So this came out, and it was basically a Nintendo port of the arcade game with like a new snow level. A fun game. I played more co-op than I did single player, but at my friend's house again. Many sleepovers playing Nintendo games. And we used to rent at a Video Visions in Armagh, PA. Love that video store, going in, seeing the tapes, and seeing the Nintendo games on there on the little shelf, and you'd rent one for the weekend. Love this game. Awesome two-player. You could have two players, much like Contra. Awesome game. This goes back to my story, Super Mario Bros. 3, about the Nintendo Power. I was so hyped for that game after reading that issue of Nintendo Power. Finally got this game, Super Mario Bros. 3. I'm not going to say too much about it because you all know it's one of the best platformers on the NES. Actually, it was probably the best platformer on the NES. And people say the best Mario game of all time. This game, the hype for this game when I was in 4th grade, was something to behold. Me and my group of friends, or me and my friend, and then everybody around. Everybody wanted this game. I mean, this was a huge deal. I remember getting this game, and my cousin lived down the road from me. And I remember this memory of getting it, and he was mowing grass or something, or I don't remember what he was doing outside, but I ran down and I was holding the box up in the air like, look, I got Super Mario Bros. 3. And we played it, and I think, I don't remember if I played it with him then, or I just went in and played it because he was busy, but this game I don't think I ever beat without the Warp Whistles single player the whole way through. I beat it with the Warp Whistles single player, but the only time I've actually went through all the levels was with two people without using Warp Whistles, and that was my friend's house. Yeah, Super Mario Bros. 3, not much to say about it, but I'm currently replaying it with a friend in the All-Stars version, Super Mario World, or All-Stars Plus World, and it's a blast. So yeah, that's my Nintendo story. The reason I'm into video games as much as I am. And then after that, of course, I got a Super Nintendo with birthday party money I raised up. I had a birthday party just to get money to get a Super Nintendo. Came out in August of 91, so my birthday was November of 91, so I got it, November, so pretty recently after launch. So yeah, I know I'm a little late to happy birthday any Nintendo Entertainment System, but happy birthday Nintendo Entertainment System. Without you, my life would be completely different. I don't know where I would be, um, but I thank you NES for all the fun that you have given me and still are giving me to this day, because I still play NES games to this day. I thank you for the friends I made in elementary school and the person I became because of that, because those people shaped my life and those experiences shaped my life for the better. The fun times of renting video games, taking them to a sleepover at a friend's house, playing all night, waking up early to play the game, just enjoying every moment of that. That's a time in my life that I will always look back on and cherish as I get older and older. I will think of that. I won't think about, you know, working or anything like that. I'll think of those times where I played NES in the wee hours of the morning, waking up, playing it, waiting for each game to come out, looking at the games behind the counter, wondering what they entail. The wonderment, the excitement of Nintendo Power, getting a new Nintendo Power in the mail, smelling the instruction manual, looking at the box while your parents shop, being overjoyed when you finally get home to play it, reading about games in magazines, writing lists for games you wanted, playing a game in a little TV and a light, in the early morning you wake up and you have your TV on and you're playing, you couldn't wait to play. Christmas, going down, running down, getting a game you want. All that stuff is tied up to me in Nintendo. And video games to me are, for the most part, tied to the NES. And because of that, I thank you, Nintendo Entertainment System. I thank you, Nintendo, I should say, for all that you've given me and continue to give me with the Wii U. And I passed that on to my nephew, got him a Wii U, got him a lot of games for it. We play some games when he comes home on the Wii. I enjoy that, playing with him, and I hope that, if anything, those games I got him can give him just an ounce of that joy that I got from them. And it'll be well worth it, and I hope he looks back and said, you know, my uncle, that Wii U he gave me, that's pretty cool. That was a pretty cool gift, and I hope someday maybe he's making a video or something about when he got the Wii U and how it changed, who he was and what hobbies he likes. So anyway, I'm rambling on, but that is how much Nintendo means to me and my Nintendo story. So take care, guys. I'll see you again. Bye.